I'm Megan Leffew. I'm an extension specialist for value added agriculture marketing with UT Extension's Center for Profitable Agriculture. The Center for Profitable Agriculture is part of the University of Tennessee Extension. We are a unique partnership between the university and the Tennessee Farm Bureau Federation. Our mission is to help farmers develop value added agriculture enterprises, including direct farm marketing and agritourism. Marketing is an important consideration for farm businesses, especially those who are interested in being profitable. We can learn a lot about how to be successful by considering what make businesses fail. Oftentimes, businesses fail by what we call the 3 M's. The first is money, not having enough capital to start up and operating a business. We really do need money in order to make money. The second is management. It takes a lot of coordination and management of various aspects of an operation to make it successful, and keeping all of those balls in the air is important. So management is the second reason businesses fail and also leads to success. Marketing is a third reason that businesses often fail. Sometimes businesses think, if I build it, grow it, raise it, they will come and buy it and I will be profitable. And that's not typically how it works. Other people think, well, I know I need to do some marketing, so they go out and do some marketing without any thought or strategy behind it, and that can also be a mistake. So one of the keys is to marketing is knowing who your customer is and targeting them specifically. Developing a written marketing plan is like a roadmap for your business. It helps you to identify where you are in the marketplace, your strengths and weaknesses, and the opportunities and threats out there. It helps you to identify challenges that you want to avoid or obstacles that you need to avoid. It helps you identify your destination or your target audience and the goals that you're trying to reach. A marketing plan then helps you develop strategies to get from where you are to reaching that target audience and your goals. And those strategies are relating to your product, your price, your place or distribution, and how you promote your business. A marketing plan isn't complete without developing methods to evaluate your marketing efforts and making adjustments over time as you evaluate what's working and what may not be working for your marketing strategies, and also as market demand and consumer demand may change. When you are getting started with your farm business, it's really important to take a hard look in the mirror and assess your resources and your strengths and weaknesses. Do you have what it takes to be an entrepreneur? What kind of resources do you have as far as capital and land or facilities, at your market situation, as far as geography, and then also to take on a customer state of mind. After that, marketing is really all about understanding your target audience, identifying that target audience, and understanding their needs, values, and preferences. Your marketing strategies will be based all on that target audience. So the product that you produce will be developed based on a need that your target audience has that you can fulfill. Your price will be based in part upon what that target customer is willing to pay. The place where you make your product available will be based on where your target audience is likely to shop. And your promotion strategies will also be based on what information your consumers need, where your consumers seek information, and how they go about finding that information. Even your people and customer service offerings should be based upon what your target customer needs, wants, and values related to service and convenience. Ideally, in any business, we want to take a market-driven approach. So instead of maybe having an idea about, I would like to produce a certain product or make the certain characteristics of a product or make a product available a certain place, we should base our ideas on what our consumer and market is interested in and needing. So when we take a market-driven approach, we want to figure out if there is a need or a want that your business can fulfill. What is missing in the marketplace that you can provide? Maybe that complements other things that are being offered in the marketplace. What is the need? How much of that product is demanded? How often do people purchase that product? What is valued about that product that you can create as part of it, the characteristics or the packaging or the service? And what is valued and how do they value that? We also need to think about what competition exists and think broadly, not just other farmers maybe who producing that product or even a service, but other entities in the marketplace where that product is developed and offered. Well, how do we go about identifying a need that business can fulfill? Well, we listen in the marketplace and we do some research. So that might entail hanging out at the local farmers market and trying to figure out what products are missing that maybe you could provide, or by listening to customers asking about products that aren't available or that might complement what is there. We could also take a look at industry studies or trends in the marketplace. For example, Whole Foods does an annual report about what trends they're seeing in the grocery industry, and the National Restaurant Association puts out a what's hot in the culinary forecast near the beginning of each year to see what chefs think are going to be hot in the restaurant trade. So the next very important piece of the taking a target market approach is to identify that target audience. Not every consumer is going to be your consumer. So who are the people who are most likely to buy your product, to pay a price that will allow you to be profitable in your business and will become lifelong customers buying products over and over again from you? That is a small subset of the population, and the better you can identify those people and market directly to them, the more efficient your marketing efforts will be. So we can try to identify people by demographic characteristics. Maybe your target consumers are of a particular age group or generation. Maybe they live or work within a particular geographic area. Maybe they have a certain marital or education or income status. Maybe they even have a certain ethnicity, race, or religion. Any characteristic that you can use to narrow down that target audience by demographics will help you reach them better. We also look at psychographics or purchasing behaviors and shopping behaviors. Where might your target audience shop? How often do they shop? What kinds of products do they buy and value? Also, how do they like to vote with their dollars? What causes are important to them that they want to support? And how can you relate to them, or how is your product and business consistent with those needs and values? Your ideal target market has 3 characteristics. They have a need that your business can fulfill, an ability to purchase the product at a price that generates a profit for your business, and 3, a willingness to purchase that product. If the target audience that you're considering does not meet all 3 of those criteria, then you need to look at another target audience, because that is not going to be viable for you. If I would really like your product as a consumer, but I don't have the ability to pay a price because my income is not high enough, then I'm not going to be a viable target market for you. Or if I'm a consumer who has a need that you can fulfill and the ability to purchase that, but I'm not willing to pay the price that you need, then I'm also not a viable target audience for your business. The next step in identifying that target audience is learning as much as we can about that audience, and we look at the customer C's, looking at the values and preferences that a consumer has. So the first customer C is customer benefit. When a customer is going to purchase a product, they are not just going to purchase a tomato, for instance. They can buy tomatoes almost anywhere. You can go to any grocery store, you can go to a farmer's market, you can go to a roadside stand, you can go right to a farm. In some cases, a customer may be able to go to a farm and pick their own tomato. So what makes a customer choose where they purchase their tomatoes? Part of that might be seasonality and other things in the marketplace, but part of that is also the benefit that their customers are looking from that tomato or any product that they're looking for. So we're not really buying a tomato when customers are buying a tomato. They may be buying the taste of summer, that first bacon, lettuce, tomato sandwich of summer from a fresh off the vine farm raised tomato. It might be the story that they get to tell when they're making dinner or having dinner with their family or friends about where they went to purchase that tomato, the farmer who grew it, and why they buy tomatoes from that farmer. So when we're thinking about the reasons people buy, we want to think about the benefit that they're seeking from the product and not just the product themselves. The next C is customer cost. We think about pricing a product and the price that we will receive. On the other hand, customers are thinking about the cost that they are paying. So customers may be interested in finding the cheapest price possible. Those are probably not your target audience. We might be looking at what other characteristics or values go into the price that customers are willing to pay. Are they willing to pay for fresh or local, or environmentally friendly, or organic, or a pick your own experience, or the relationship with the farmer, the knowledge that of how that product was produced and who produced it and where it was produced. What factors play into that cost and what are those customers willing to pay? Convenience is another C about customer values, and that relates to where customers are needing to and willing to go to purchase the product. Some customers are moms like I am with really busy lives working and taking care of kids. So convenience is really key. I've got to be able to get products quickly and move on to the next task. There may be other folks who are interested in having time to speak with the farmer or representative of the farm, or even to visit the farm directly to purchase a product. Some folks are interested in going to the farmer's market regularly throughout the season or the year. So what is your convenience, values, and needs from your target customers? The final C is related to communication, and that includes things like where your customers seek information that they need to make purchasing decisions. What websites do they visit? What social media platforms are they visiting? Are they taking customer reviews and customer testimonials seriously? What kind of information do they want to know about your farm? Is it related to production or your brand values or causes that you support? Find out what your customers need to know and what they value, and communicate with them in the places they're looking about the things that are important to them. So how do we do this? Finding out about our customers' needs and values. There are some industry studies out there, in some cases from universities and producer organizations or industry associations, that can be helpful in this regard. So take a look online, but we also want to be careful about the sources, making sure those are credible sources that you find and the information you find is up to date. The market changes so quickly that a study from 1974 is not going to give us the best information to market today to today's consumers. We can listen on social media. For example, I am from Columbia, Tennessee, and I follow some groups called I Heart Columbia and Moms of Muletown, and people are often asking questions about where can I find this product, or I would like to go pick strawberries, or I would really interested in finding some local meat. And so that gives me information about what's important to people, what they're looking for, and I can also listen and observe the answers that are being given. What types of farms are being recognized and recommended? What kind of information is being shared about why those people chose those particular farms and what they like about the product enough to recommend them to others? So those are some ways that you can learn about customer needs, values, and preferences. The next step in taking a market-driven approach is to determine if there's an adequate market size and if you're able to earn an adequate market share to make your farm profitable. So the first thing we need to do is to run some numbers. Do you think you can sell at a price high enough to cover the costs of your production? So we need to know what our costs of production are, so that we know our break-even price, and then are customers willing to pay enough of a price in order to cover those costs. Also, we need to think about if there's an adequate market size and potential share of that market. Are there enough consumers out there willing to purchase enough of the product in order to create a viable market, a viable demand for your product. There's some ways that we can do this. We can take a look at some census numbers to try to identify perhaps how many people fit the demographics of our target audience. We can look at the Census Bureau data to look at expenditures that people typically make for different types of food categories, and even fees and admissions if you're looking at an agritourism type product. There are some studies about per capita consumption and other things out there that you can get a little bit of an idea of market share. And if I look at a population and I think, well, can I get 1% of this market share? And if I were to do that, is that enough to help generate enough sales for my business? You can run some sensitivity analysis on that. The next part of developing our market-driven approach is to take all the information we've learned about those target customers, their needs, values, and preferences, and develop some marketing strategies. So we use our customer benefits that we talked about earlier to try to develop the type of product that we're going to offer, the characteristics of that product that will meet the needs of our customers, and even some of the convenience levels perhaps for packaging, and the values of communication to what information might go on that label. We'll use the values of cost in customer cost, what customers are willing to pay in order to help determine our price. And then we will use the customer value related to convenience to help determine where we're going to make our product available, our price and distribution strategy, and also the communication to help inform our promotion strategies. Now we'll talk a little bit more about each of those 4 P's of marketing: product, price, place, and promotion. When developing your product, it's important to consider the resources that you have on your farm and your interests. But if you can't sell that to consumers, it's not going to be of much value to you. So thinking about the product and the market situation and consumer demand, think about the benefit that customers are looking for in a product and how you can deliver what they are looking for. That can be a certain product itself, the characteristics of a product. That might be a certain production method, either at the farm level or in processing. It may be a certain type of packaging, information that you provide on the packaging to help them understand what the product is and keywords that they're looking for. That can even be the services that you provide. Maybe customers are looking for a level of service not provided in the mainstream, personal delivery, or an opportunity to come to the farm and have an experience as they pick up a product from you. The message that you portray through your product and promotions and every aspect of your business is related to product positioning. That is the image that you want to portray to consumers. That image should relate to their needs and values and preferences, should match up with that target audience and what they are looking for in your business. Consider how you are unique and how you can uniquely fill their needs for their products. When we're thinking about place and distribution methods, we want to make it as convenient as possible for our consumers to find us and access your business and your products. So think about where customers are going to be or can get to easily, what hours they will be available to come and shop or purchase or pick up products from you. What kind of customer comforts do they need? If folks are coming to meet you out on the farm, maybe offering some nice cold water or hot coffee, even for purchase, and making sure there are places to wash hands and use restroom facilities, or even sit and rock a while, can be really helpful. So think about your customer needs related to the place and where you can conveniently make products available and easily accessible to your customers. As part of that place or distribution, we can also think of merchandising and point of purchase materials. You are growing, raising, producing a quality product with a lot of heart in it, and we want to show it off in the best light possible. So making sure we're using good merchandising techniques to show off that product best highlights with good lighting, an abundance of products, excellent signage discussing the needs and important aspects that those customers are looking for, showing the price of the product. Consumers want to know the price. It's a little off-putting if a price is not listed, giving them all the information that they need in order to purchase that product. Pricing is probably one of the least favorite aspects of marketing for farmers and can be one of the most confusing. Therefore, some farmers just pull a price out of a hat or see what other people are charging and charge the same thing. But that can be a detrimental strategy for you. Your costs are different than what other people's costs are. Your goals are different what other people's goals are. Your target audience may be willing to pay something different than other competitors' customers are. So you need to take all of those things into consideration. Pricing is challenging as well because it's part science and part art. The science part is we can run some numbers to help figure out what it costs you to produce this product. And that should be the price that you are not charging below that. And we need to include some labor in that as well. That's something that people often leave out when they're calculating a break-even price. Knowing your costs is very important. We also need to think about the competition. What is the competition charging? And what are their strengths and weaknesses? What is their market share? How are they meeting customer needs? How are you unique, different? How are you better? And how are your customers different? And how are you fulfilling different needs? We also need to think about our customers and what they're willing to pay. If you are selling jams and jellies at the farmer's market and they are flying off the shelf, you probably aren't charging enough, right? So if you're charging $5, but your customers are willing to pay $7, you're leaving $2 a jar on the table. So understanding what your customers are willing to pay is really important. When we are setting a price, we can take the information we know maybe from science, from the competition costs and what it's costing us to produce. We can take what we think our customers are willing to pay for our product and we can kind of mix it up in a bag and choose a price to start with. Definitely higher than what it costs us to produce, but considering what our goals are for profit and what our customers are willing to pay and how we relate to our competition. Now, I mentioned those jars of jam flying off the shelf. If you're showing up the market with jam that's flying off the shelf or blueberries that are gone within half an hour of the market opening, which we sometimes hear about, then you probably need to raise that price, and that is okay. Some customers need to say no to you based on price. You can experiment with price a little bit to find the sweet spot about when you're getting the highest price possible and selling the quantity of product that you need to in order to maximize your profit. Now, that doesn't mean that you can't give a discount to special regular customers or to someone who you think would like the product but may not be able to afford it. That is certainly something that you can do, and you can feel good about doing that as well. But we need to strategically set our price and not just pull one out of a hat. Promotion is another important strategy for farm businesses. You have developed this wonderful product and you need to get the word out about it in order to inform consumers that the product is available, to entice them to purchase the product, to share your story, and to let them know how to purchase that product. So we do that through promotion, and we consider the values and characteristics of our target customer related to communication for that. So we choose methods to promote based on where our target customers are looking. In this day and age, if you aren't on the web, you aren't. So getting a website or a web presence in some way is really important. And that might even be through third-party website, like the Pick Tennessee Products Promotion Program, where you can get website for your product grown in Tennessee, and other states have similar programs. You can include all of your contact information and some information. You can tell your story about your farm and the products you produce and where you make those products available for sale, and can link to your own website or social media sites if you have some of those. Promotion can take on several different methods. Definitely going to do some website development or getting a web presence. Social media is a big option for farm businesses these days, but understanding which platform or platforms your target customers on is really important. It can be overwhelming to try to tackle all of the social media platforms at once, so try to pick one to start with and do it really, really well. Word of mouth and e-word of mouth continue to be a really valuable promotion opportunity. And sometimes we think of that happening organically, and we hope that it does, but we can also help spur that word of mouth by asking people to share information with their friends, to share social media posts and websites, business cards, or any other marketing materials you have. If somebody gives you a compliment, you could ask them if they would do a review for you on a certain site or social media platform, or if you could use their quote on your website, for example. So work that word of mouth. A couple of other keys to promotion is to not put all your eggs in one basket. Just having a Facebook page, for instance, is not the magic key. Doing a combination of things like working with that state promotion program and linking your Facebook site to that, putting a sign up where you market your products, asking people to follow you on Facebook, or asking people to post and tag you in Facebook or leave reviews on Facebook, or share your posts on Facebook. Making connections through all your promotion aspects can be really important. Marketing takes time, and it can also take some money if you're paying for your time or other people's time, but also in developing marketing materials or a website, or even doing things like boosting posts or doing advertisements on social media. So it's important to develop a budget for your social media activities, determining how much you're willing to spend, how much you need to spend in order to get everything in place to promote your products and your farm to your customers. When you start a farm business, your sales are pretty low. They might even be zero. So the percentage of your sales and marketing budget could be quite a bit. Over time, that will decrease as your sales increase. But oftentimes we think of a marketing budget as about 5 to 10% of your sales. Of course, it depends on how really good you are at social media and able to get people to share and interact and engage. That can reduce your costs, although it still takes time. So we have talked about taking a market-driven approach to marketing by identifying a need in the marketplace that your business can fulfill, by identifying and learning as much as you can about a specific target audience that has a need you can fulfill, a willingness to purchase, and an ability to purchase at a price high enough that can help generate a profit. It is by determining whether a profitable market exists, by understanding whether you can produce at a price low enough, cost low enough, and a price high enough that you could generate a profit and sell enough product in order to make your business viable. And then by developing strategies for your product, your pricing, your place and distribution, and promotion to directly reach that target audience. There are additional resources available for your farm and for you as you develop a marketing plan. You may have heard about the Ag Plan software that is helpful in developing a business plan, which also has some market strategies and marketing involved with it. That can be a helpful resource. The Center for Profitable Agriculture also has some marketing resources available. We have extension publications from our center and from other entities available in our program area's website under Market Fundamentals or marketing resources. We have a YouTube channel with webinar recordings about various topics, from social media and developing video content for social media, website development, branding, all sorts of different topics there on YouTube. And if you have questions, we are glad to help when we can. Feel free to reach out to our specialists. Our website also has a page devoted to funding opportunities, some of which help with marketing expenses. Check out the funding opportunities page under resources on the Center for Profitable Agriculture website. Marketing is an extremely important component of your business. I hope this information has been helpful to get you off on the right foot in analyzing and developing your market.